but this one is one I'm excited about. I want to explain it a little bit of what we're going to try to do, because we get questions a lot in the DMs, which we appreciate, from young folks that are in ROTC that are going to go be boot officers. We get people who are thinking about joining the military and they want to hear what the culture is like by listening to this show. We get those questions all the time. And I wanted to have like an avenue where people could send us questions. So send them to the DMs at ZeroBlock30 or email them to cons@barstoolsports.com. And we will go through some of the disputes. And by disputes, I mean, if your corporal is telling you this and you think it's wrong, we want to know about it, because we'll help you out on the pod and see if they're fucked up or you're fucked up. We're going to figure out who's fucked up across the board. And I love that. I would say military wise, this is my biggest strength of helping folks through this if what you're doing is fucked up. Because if I say you as an NCO are going too far, I think if you listen to this show enough, you know that's saying something.
That's bad. We need a name for this segment, though. We need a name for it. What are we doing?
Yeah,
if Chaps finally thinks they've gone too far, they went too far for me like 4 hours ago.
Yeah. That's exactly right. So if you have any ideas for segment names, send us that as well. But we'll start the first one. I like this one. The first one, what is it, Kate?
Okay, so this person says, I'll make this as brief as I can. I'm in ITB East and my eyesight is very, very, very bad. I needed 2 waivers just to enlist and they let me be infantry in the first place. How they let me be infantry in the first place is beyond me. Regardless, I'm here at ITB now, and to be honest, I shouldn't be here. I cannot see a target 300 meters away in broad daylight with my glasses. How am I supposed to be a member of a rifle squad when I can't even see a target? I'll end up being a reason good Marines die because I couldn't see the enemy. Is there anything I can do? My vision is the best it can be. I've been to dozens of eye doctors and it can't get better. I honestly don't know what to do if I have to stay infantry. Is it possible that I could get reclassed like to a different MOS because of my eyesight? How did you get there in the first place? It's beyond me.
Yeah, that's a failure on the Marines.
Yeah, that's not your fault, buddy. That's not your fault.
There was comments underneath this one, and one dude is like the perfect example of a Marine Corps sergeant, and like his response was, "Sounds to me like you're just being a pussy. You saw what the infantry does, and you don't want to do it anymore." No, it sounds like the dude can't see. I think that's a pretty big deal. I think in this one, normally I say in the moment of truth, don't say anything. I got to tell you, if you can't see and your job is to locate, close with, and destroy the enemy by fire and maneuver, you got to bring that one up to your leadership. If you can't see them, you can't locate them.
But I liked another comment I saw on it that was like, you know what? Just fire a bunch. You'll hit it. You'll hit it eventually.
Pray and spray. Just put that bitch on burst and go.
You'll hit something.
I mean, in actuality, how many targets in real life were you trying to hit that were 300 meters away?
Yeah, that's true.
And it's mostly in a tree line. You don't know what you're aiming at, buddy.
You're okay.
I would say, as long as you can see the muzzle flash, you're good.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know how it works in the Marines, but the natural change would be to go to the artillery, where you just got to get close. You don't necessarily have to be very precise. You just got to get close.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Tug that.
See if you can become an artillery guy.
So I think we're all in the same position here. This one you got to tell. This isn't one to keep close to the vest. You just got to put that Dick Skinner high in the sky and be like, "Oh, Staff Sergeant, this recruit can't see."
I would say, see if they can do LASIK, because that's, if you're in the military and you don't take advantage of that, I wish I had.
Yeah.
You're an idiot.
I did.
That actually might be the best
ever.
way to get boosted up, because I don't think PFCs and Lance Corporal, which this guy clearly is, because he didn't use a comma,
any
period,
punctuation,
any at all. It's the most beautiful example of a junior enlisted Marine I think I've seen written out. I will say he did spell most things correctly and use the right words, and I'm very proud of him for not using irregardless and just went with straight regardless. So that's credit to him.
Huge.
And credit to the United States Marine Corps and the United States Naval Service as a whole. But I say tell on that one. That's a tell from me. The second one we have: has anybody here received money back from the IRS by saving and documenting your haircut receipts when filling out your tax return? It'd be nice to get back that 500 or whatever, but the military makes us spend on our haircuts. Cons, we'll start with you. Do you think this troop is ever getting back that money for haircuts?
All right, so this is a good question, because I've actually never considered whether or not you could write off haircuts as a tax exemption. Stands to reason that you could, though, because
No, you cannot. Sorry,
cannot.
Pals. Haircuts for military personnel or anyone else are not tax deductible. They're considered normal grooming by the IRS.
oh, all
and
right.
are not deductible even if your job requires it.
See, I
Ooh.
think that we should be able to go and speak in front of the IRS and be like, tell that to the fucking gunny that it's optional. That
Yeah.
it's part of normal groom. It is not normal grooming for a male to have to go get their haircut every week.
No.
Like every
Right.
single Sunday or Saturday, you have to go get a haircut. That's not normal grooming.
Yeah, the Jeff D. Lowe's of the world are few and far between. So especially when you get into the military, that's not a choice. I don't know.
And also, pal, if you're a Lance Corporal and you're doing itemized tax deductions, you're an idiot.
Yeah. There's a couple things. If you travel more than 100 miles and stay overnight as a National Guard member, that can be a tax deduction, even if you don't itemize it. And the cost of any uniforms you purchase that you cannot wear off duty can be tax deductible.
Oh, so
your
don't
dress-
even try to get the Inspector Gadget coat, you Marines.
Right, exactly.
If you lose your all-weather coat, you got to still, because you can wear that motherfucker out in town. I think that with this, to me, I'll just sit blanket. Unless you came in with a lot of money, which if you did, you're an idiot too. If you don't itemize your tax deduction, just take the fucking normal lump sum shit,
Yeah.
like and do it that way. Like you're not going to get your money back anyway. It's the smartest way to go.
I mean, I respect this guy for, attempting or wanting to be this level of diligent, but it's ultimately not worth it. But I'm because I'm usually a very big proponent of when I can get some sort of discount, even if it's a small discount, I still get it because it's better than a stick in the eye.
Oh yeah, no doubt. If you can get a discount, get that bad boy.
Yeah.
This one might be my favorite question I've ever seen about the military. And I'm not even exaggerating. This one is just so unbelievably beautiful. Here we go. Weird question, but I like to eat what I grow. Am I allowed to grow potatoes on base when I join? Also, is it possible to have a chicken or a rooster for egg laying purposes? Albeit, I'll only have one pair and I'll make sure everything is tidy. Just wondering if this is possible. Okay, let's get your thoughts on this. Can a young sailor grow potatoes or have a chicken?
I have to say, as I'm hearing this, I cannot believe each little camp area on a base doesn't have a mini farm where the boots are responsible for creating one meal a week or something where I can't believe, can you imagine you fuck up, go out there and dig me 40 potatoes right now?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Or if you have a garden recruit, like if you put it out like in the battalion area where everything has to be clean all the time. If you had like, what are those, a neighborhood garden, what are those called? A co-op? Yeah. A co-op on all different battalions, and then have like almost like the HOAs do where you have a competition of who has the best garden.
Okay.
I would like to see that.
In theory, this is all well and good, but in reality, this would get out of hand so quickly and those gardens would just get forgotten about. And then next thing you know, you just have an area of where the barracks are that just look like absolute dog crap. So I would say this is not a good idea. Now, but the question is, are they allowed? I would defer to you guys. I don't know. I never lived on
Absolutely
post.
not. No way. Like a fucking rooster and chicken.
Oh,
like
the rooster and chicken, definitely not. But I would think like
potato,
maybe like a little...
what are they going to do? Like, how are you really going to know somebody's like planting potatoes?
You could
outside?
find somewhere.
You could definitely do that.
Yes.
You could absolutely find somewhere to, and there are some, Lewis McChord, Fort Hood, Andrews Air Force Base, Fort Drum, Fort Wainwright, Fort Riley, and Rucker have community gardens where you can apply for
Notice none of those are Marine Corps bases.
None of those are Marine Corps bases. No, you're right. But you can find, half of Camp Pendleton was a farm that somebody else like leased.
You can find the land.
Hide.
Imagine like going, because a lot of the rifle ranges are in the woods, like they have woods around to kind of muffle the sounds. Imagine if you go out there trying to take a piss on the rifle range and someone has netted off an area where they're doing like homesteading with chickens and roosters. I could see that happening.
For whoever asked this, please, for the love of God, just one potato plant, hide it, grow it, and show us your potato when it is.
Or if you're just listening and you live in the barracks, see how many things you can grow without until you get caught. Like if you have carrots or whatever, I would love to see that. Imagine getting yelled at by your first sergeant. Who the fuck is out here growing goddamn radishes.
Strawberry seeds grow like weeds, dude. Sprinkle those around the edges of the building. You'll have strawberries everywhere.
Buy me that motherfucking Marine that has blackberry vines growing all over the damn barracks.
Yeah. Please.
Get him and his NCO and tell him to bring the chicken and have the chicken at parade rest too.
That's a great question, though. I love it. I love
It
it.
is a great question. I thought it was phenomenal. Next one up. So I'm about to start my first assignment as an officer. Is there anything people recommend to help stay organized? I've looked at the battle board and full focus planner. I'm terrible at organization, so anything helps.
Just wing it, dude. Set 20 alarms on your phone for every part of your day. That's what I do.
Yeah, that seems to work very well. I don't know what battle board and full focus planner are, but I will say
Battle board is such a nerd name. Oh,
yeah, seriously.
just call
I don't
it
know.
a fucking trapper keeper, dude.
Whatever works for you, figure it out. But there's one way to get very quickly painted as an idiot, and that is to forget meetings or to lose paperwork or to not have airtight planning schedule and know what your calendar is supposed to look like. People will just go from, you might just say, like, oh, I'm a little disorganized today and I didn't get to it, to you're an absolute moron and I can't trust you with anything. So it is imperative. I hate to say it as an officer, especially the further up you go, you got to be organized. So figure something out, whatever works easiest for you.
A good app, Wunderlist, WUNDER list is a top rated one. If you have multiple to-do lists, personal and professional, it like helps keep track of all your shit. Find a good app.
Dude, I had, 86 million different spreadsheets for all different things. It's so easy now. There's got to be an app to remember everything.
My advice when I became the company gunny, organization is not my strong suit at all. Like that for like doing time and shit like that. Listen, if you're going to be the lieutenant, you're going to be in charge of anything. Find somebody in your platoon or in your company that's one of their skills is being incredibly organized and have them do it. Like that's what I used to do for the training, like rosters and shit like that. I had one clerk and I knew she was incredibly organized. I'd be like, I need you to make a spreadsheet of everybody who's completed the rifle range and who hasn't. Put it in Excel, make it easy. She would do it and it would be done great. Then I would bring it to the company commander and be like, look at this. And it'd be like, wow, that's incredibly organized.
The only thing I will say to that, I agree that is a good tactic, but you 100% have to own it. You have to understand it. You can't just like take it from the person and put it on the commander's desk. You have to
give them credit if they do a good job too.
Yes, absolutely.
I like
know your strengths and weaknesses.
All right, next
I
one.
like this next one.
I got an air fryer for Christmas and have no clue if I'm allowed to have this in a barracks. Kate, your thoughts?
These are the new George Foreman grills. When it was my era, it was don't say anything, just hide it. It's like me with my cat in this apartment. Just hide it. If they're coming through on field days, whatever. If you are lucky enough to have a common kitchen area in your barracks, hide it in there or something like that when you need to. But yeah, no, any open heating item you usually can't have.
It stinks because the George Foreman, you could get those at like Goodwill usually. Like almost any Goodwill has a George Foreman sitting in the back somewhere where you can grab it. Air fryer is going to be like $30-$40 at least. So when you lose one of those, you're out some money. I think this one you're just asking for trouble because air fryer, you're definitely going to be able to smell it like in the hallways and shit like that. This is not one you're going to get away with. By all means, try it, but I don't think you're going to get away with it.
When your hallway over, fry everybody up some good shit and say, hey, this is all between us. Let's keep it on the DL and help each other hide the air fryer.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
So I would say no. Kate says yes. So that is where we'll leave off on that one. You do it? I would say across the board, maybe not in the Air Force. I bet the Air Force lets you have that stuff.
Yeah.
The Air Force probably has a registry that you get before you move into the barracks where you get to check off all the items you want to receive.
They were allowed to have hot plates, and I was incredibly jealous when I was at K-9 school. I was like, oh, we got to go out to eat. Why don't you make stuff in your barracks room? Oh, we're not allowed. You can't do it on a hot plate? Oh, let a hot plate be found during field day.
I was handling a 50 cal 30 minutes ago, but no, I can't have a hot plate in my room. No.
Yeah, because and at the time I was 23, which seems even more ridiculous. Next up, I've been in about 4 years now, and for the life of me, I can't understand why we as a military haven't done away with parade rest. Outside of basic training environment, does it truly foster discipline, or is just one of the we do it because those before us did it? Cons, we'll start with you.
No, you do it. It's just because it's one of those things where across the military, if you go to any other unit, you just know what parade rest is. So you can stand and be uniform no matter where you are. And when there's a group of people standing around in a formation, they all look the same. It's about uniformity. It's not about what did we do, or were we doing something because those before us did it. It's a way to look uniform. I think this is a silly question to look any deeper into it more than that.
Kate, you muted yourself. You got to stop muting yourself all the time, Kate.
Well, I'm burping every 2 seconds. It's it's supposed to be like a respect thing, I think. And so I don't know.
I think I'm going to have a surprising take for you guys. I think that a majority of the time it is stupid. I think going to parade rest, like if you're just having a normal conversation as a corporal or a sergeant with a staff NCO, going to parade rest, if I'm like teaching you something or we're just having a conversation, I think that's silly. Like you probably shouldn't have to do that. Now, if you're getting dressed down or if you're in trouble and it turns into like dad voice or mom voice where you know you fucked up, I could see like instilling discipline by your going to parade rest. Like that is the sign of respect there. But normal conversation, I think that you get further in training when you are a little bit more relaxed and you're doing a teaching environment rather than a discipline environment.
So I took this as just, I didn't take this as necessarily as training. Cause yeah, I think it makes sense if you're training on something and you're having a discussion that you could just stand.
Oh, I don't think they're trying to get away with parade. I don't think that's it.
Yeah.
Ooh,
But
I
no,
bet if you're really into like cuck porn and stuff like that, I bet you love going to parade rest.
Oh,
I'm a
yeah.
dirty little parade rest boy.
Oh yeah, I was you. Hey, get me, daddy.
Chaps, I agree with you though, because I can imagine if you just let anyone
Kyle.
stand any which way when you're dressing them down, when First Sergeant Lugo's giving them a talking to, they could be crossing their arms, rolling their eyes, putting their head back. So it's a way to maintain that good order.
It nips a lot in the bud. I agree.
Yeah.
It nips a lot in the bud.
I had a certain first sergeant, I won't say if it was Lugo or not, but whenever there was a young Marine that came into his office, didn't go to parade rest whenever he was talking to him. And he made the Marine turn around. He was like, turn around. I need to see the back of your uniform. And whenever he did it, he took like, you know how you do like frogging in somebody's arm, like where it makes a little bump show up, like her dead leg. He did that right where their kidney is. And he like hit him like pretty hard. And your instantaneous like reach back. And he's like, that's where your hand should have been the entire time.
That's one way to get you to go to parade rest. Jeez.
True.
Yeah.
My word.
I love it. That was great.
He's lucky he didn't just drop him to his knees with the kidney shot.
So I like that one. Parade rest, I think that's it. I mean, for me, it is silly a lot of times because you worry so much about the customs and courtesies and discipline where the main purpose of what you're doing, the training of that individual troop or like the mentoring of that individual troop can go away because you're so focused on what I envision to be minor issues. But that's how I feel about that. All right, let's move on to a little bit of save rounds and alibi.